session to order, and if everybody will, we're going to stand and have a moment of silence. And as most of y'all know, we lost Coach Bradley since our last meeting, so I would like for us to have this moment of silence in his honor. Thank you all for that. Now we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. And that brings us down to the recognition portion, and I'll turn that over to the director.
Thank you. I have a few proclamations to read for a few outgoing board members, and I wanted to start that off. I plan to read 3 proclamations, and then once I complete those, we'll come out front, take some pictures, and give you these proclamations. These are given by our Mayor, Mark Potts. First proclamation, whereas Josh Cameron was elected to the Jefferson County School Board in 2022. At the age of 38, he was the youngest member seated. He served his 4 years, achieving boardmanship as a level 3 boardsman. Josh served as chairman for the years of 2024 and 2026. Whereas Josh Cameron supported the additions at Talbot Elementary School and the start of renovations at Jefferson Elementary School. And whereas Josh Cameron, a lifelong resident of Jefferson County, attended school at White Pine Elementary, kindergarten through 8th grade, and was a 2002 graduate of Jefferson County High School. And whereas he continued his education at Walter State Community College, graduated with an associate degree in agriculture, University of Tennessee, graduated with a BS in agriculture, and a master's in education from Cumberland University. And whereas Josh's dedication to his students, his program in agriculture education is evident every single day at the Career and Technical Education program at Byington Solway CTE Center. And whereas Josh Cameron received the 2026 Tennessee Honorary State FFA degree from Tennessee FFA Board of Directors, he was awarded the highest honor Tennessee FFA can bestow upon supporters of agriculture education. And whereas Josh Cameron has served the Jefferson County School Board with dedication, dignity, diligence, and honor, and whereas Josh Cameron admired and respected is worthy of special recognition and appreciation for his years of dedicated service, by the virtue given to Mayor Mark Potts as Mayor of Jefferson County, he does hereby invite all here today to join me in thanking Josh Cameron for his dedicated service. The next proclamation is for Mr. Bill Jarnigan. Whereas Bill Jarnigan was elected to the Jefferson County School Board in 2006 and served his term of 20 years achieving boardmanship as a level 4. And whereas Bill Jarnigan served as vice chairman for the years of 2010 to 2014, 2016 to 2024, and then chairman from 2014 to 2016. And whereas Bill Jarnigan was dedicated to education in Jefferson County and to serving the constituents of District 3, he considered it an honor to serve and was a devoted supporter of all school sports and activities. And whereas Bill Jarnigan was instrumental in many changes while serving on the Jefferson County School Board, but not limited to the construction and naming of Mount Horeb Elementary School, honoring the community, the Patriot Academy, major renovations and additions at Jefferson County High School, renovations at Piedmont Elementary School, additions at Talbot Elementary School, and the start of renovations at Jefferson Elementary School. And whereas he worked diligently in bringing the red light to the intersection of Dumpling Valley and Highway 92, and was pleased to support the naming of the new Jefferson County High School auditorium in honor of former principal Jim Swan. And whereas Bill Jernigan, active in his church and community, admired and respected, is worthy of special recognition and appreciation for the many years of dedicated service. He represents the volunteer spirit, and now, therefore, Mark Potts, by virtue of authority vested in him as mayor of Jefferson County, do hereby invite all here today to join me in thanking Bill Jernigan for his dedicated service. Save the toughest one for last. Coach Bradley. Whereas Randall Coach Bradley was elected to the Jefferson County School Board in 2010 and served his term of 16 years, achieving boardmanship as a level 4. He served as vice chairman for the years 2018 to 2020, and then chairman 2022 to 2024. And whereas Coach Bradley served the constituents of District 1 and dedicated his life serving as a teacher, coach, county commissioner, in addition to the school board. And whereas Coach Bradley was a diligent supporter of many changes while serving on the Jefferson County School Board, but not limited to the construction of Mount Horeb Elementary School, the Patriot Academy, major renovations and additions at Jefferson County High School, renovations at Piedmont Elementary School, additions at Talbot Elementary School, and the start of renovations at Jefferson Elementary School. And whereas in addition to serving as a member of the Jefferson County Board of Education and Jefferson County Commission, he was a devoted teacher and coach and was a United States Army veteran. And whereas he continued serving others in his retirement as a member of the Cades Cove Bicycle Patrol and worked at the Sugar Lands Visitor Center Information Desk. He is the epitome of a volunteer. And whereas Coach Bradley, a public servant, loved, respected, and admired by family and friends, will be sadly missed by Jefferson County. And now, therefore, Mayor Mark Potts, by virtue of the authority invested in him by Jefferson County, Tennessee, does hereby invite all here today to join me in expressing sincere thanks, deepest sympathy, and condolences to the family and friends of Coach Bradley. Here with us today. Josh. Picture, Josh.
Yeah, why not?
Mr. Jernigan. Chairman Cameron, that's all the recognitions we have for tonight.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it. I'll just say all the service that Bill and Coach put in, and I know they worked hard for the community for a long time, and I'll say this for old Coach, he's a heck of a feller. always great, but you can at least walk out of here and he check you in, and he's a good one, he'll be missed. Let's see, public input. Oh, shoot. Think my last meeting, ain't gonna get no public input? Oh, tires me up. Let's see, we don't have anything under board approved agreement renewals, I was gonna say renewal. Brings down to special committee reports, building and maintenance committee. Anything on that, Paul?
Just that we have a meeting September 15th at 5:30 at White Pine.
Okay. Joint School Board County Commission meeting, I'll let Doug handle that.
We are gonna do something a little bit different, because of all the construction that, has been done and completed. Rather than actually having a meeting, we are going to have the committee, along with anybody else, from the community, elected officials, who would like to see the, results of our, what I call our construction summer, meet at the high school at 6:30. Get on a bus, and we're gonna be touring the new ag building. We're gonna go look at the lights at Maury and the new facade that was put there. We're going up to Talbot to have an open house. We'll go about Jeffers Elementary, walk through and kind of explain what's going on there. Maybe drive by Jeff Middle and show you about the AC, the air conditioning, HVAC unit. So it's gonna be kind of a tour for the community with an open house up at Talbot. And we'll have enough buses, so if you'd like to come and see what's going on, please do so. There will be no actual meeting on that day. We're doing the tour instead.
All right, that ought to be a good, yeah.
So I noticed on the agenda, it said historic courthouse. It is
It
going to
is
be
not
at
at
the
the courthouse.
courthouse. It is going to be at the high school, just to
Yes.
reiterate
Yes, that was in Tuckbrush Corner.
Alright. Do you want, Doug, you want to say anything about the policy committee meeting real quick?
Yeah, we had right before this, we had a policy committee meeting, and every year, our first policy meeting, what we do is we review, and amend our policies, to be in compliance with all the legislation that was passed in the prior session. This year, there was a lot of school-related, policy and legislation passed. We met right before this meeting. We will be bringing that to the school board business meeting next week. And I might as well say it right now. We really don't have any say in approving or not approving this legislation. It was passed by both houses in the state capitol, signed by the governor. If we object to it, the way that we have to do is we have to get a senator to introduce new legislation to overturn what they told that we have to have. So it was not really a meeting to object. It was just to read it into record, inculcate it into our existing policies so we're in compliance with law. Because of that, the policy committee has asked that at the next business meeting, when I report on that we do it on first and final reading. So it is we are in compliance with law. We also have a couple of policies that were initiated by board members. One is a companion policy to the bullying policy that we passed, so we'll ask that be in place in first and final reading. So even though on the agenda it's going to look like a lot of policies, we're not going to go through each one individually. We're going to kind of skim through it like we did through our policy meeting, ask for unanimous consent, and be on to other things.
All right, thank you for that. That takes us down into the director's input on business session items.
And along with recognitions, I missed a couple of my notes. I did want to recognize, they were back there heads down taking notes on every word you
I'm
said,
sure.
Chairman Cameron. The youth leadership leadership class, there's several of them. Who all stand up? They love to be recognized. So that's Jefferson County Youth Leadership class. I know the board contributes monetarily to that class, and they're out here tonight. So we appreciate you all coming. And then also, September the 1st, new board members will be sworn in, and they're all here tonight. Dr. Mark Fincham, Jim Satterfield, Michelle Jeanette is here, be sworn in September 1st for new board. I always start saying names, and then once I say the first letter of the first name, I hope I get these names right. I don't know why I say names. So we appreciate y'all coming out. On the director's input on business session agenda items, have a few things. First of all, on the new business session, there will be a request to modify the board calendar to move November 5th board meeting to November 2nd. As you all will be in Nashville, I hope to be with you. We'll see how it goes for TSBA event down there. So that's based on just information. That's the recommendation date we're looking at, but we'll just ask you to confirm that in September, and then that'll give us 2 months for the meeting to be plenty. Also, Director of Schools evaluation is something that we kind of begin right now. Rhonda will ask for those around November meeting. So that sneaks up on us quick because the policy says that the board will give that evaluation by the end of December. So if we give it at the November meeting, turn it in, then that gives us time to send it off to TSBA and then a report to come back for the December meeting. So that'll be in your packets. We'd ask that you consider that, or at a minimum, that needs to be approved by the October meeting so that we can get all that in place and go forward. Also coming in on several resolutions for surplus will be on there. Technology has a long list that's happened over summer. There's a few in transportation and a few items in student nutrition. Technology is the biggest type of, I don't know how many pages it is, but a lot. Devices, switches, components, those type of things. So, but that is all that I have right now for new business that'll be on the agenda. I do have Bill Blankenship here tonight. If you will allow Mr. Blankenship to come up. I'll give you a start. Match the button for you. There you go, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
It's good to be with you. Good to see you all again. I think I was here quite a few months ago, and I was asked the question, well, when will you be finished with plans and specifications and all of that? And the answer I think I gave at the time was shortly after the abatement phase is complete with Jefferson Elementary School. Well, that's now complete. And here we are. We're just putting the finishing touches on all of the plans and specifications right now. At the end of this week, I've told everybody that's it. And all the consulting engineers will be sending their drawings. I was just on the phone about an hour ago with the civil engineer, and he's finished. He's sending his completed work first thing in the morning. So we're right at that point. And picking up all So that's where the design team is right now. It's not at the end, it just starts another phase to go forward with. And, once we have a 100% complete set, then we will be able to send that to the Tennessee State Fire Marshal's office for them to review, and check, make sure it's compliant with all the building codes on the books, and, that, I think they'll like it. And once they approve it, that is in essence your building permit, approved for the construction work. It's illustrated in those documents. Let's see, and, Dr. Arnold will back me up on this. We have, for the last 2 or 3 months especially, discussed and worked out the phasing schedule for this complex project, and how the school could still go on while, let's say, this wing over here is being worked on. It's a very nice phasing schedule, I believe. I think it's very workable. We've got a couple more items very quickly. Just my opinion, I think we're about to go into the bidding period. I think the bidding conditions in East Tennessee have definitely improved in the last 6 months or so. I've seen them that way. A lot of small and medium-sized contractors are really getting hungry for work. They should be running out of those kind of projects. So it's definitely improving. I've never seen so many contractors attending pre-bid conferences and then submitting bids later on, as I've seen in the last 30 to 60 days. So that's a good improvement for you. Now, we hit one speed bump, or had one hiccup here in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I want to get that out. It all has to do with the sprinkler system. The brand new shiny sprinkler system for the building. And it's not sprinkled now. This is an all new sprinkler system with this renovated structure. Basically all designed, get the pipes designed all the way out to the street where the big water line is buried along Andrew Johnson Highway. And there's another one, fire water line that's on Universal Road next to us. Do check and make sure everything's there. We've got enough water. Both the pressure and the volume were checked. A number 1 test, let me call it, as far as up there close to the entrance off of Andrew Johnson. And the pressure was very low. Whoa. It was a residential level pressure. For instance, we need a sprinkler design pressure of 45 psi. And we need, looking at my notes, we need a sprinkler design volume of about 500 gallons per minute. 45 psi, 500 gallons per minute. This sprinkler test number 1 at Andrew Johnson Highway, the pressure tested at 16 psi. Not even close. But that's a residential level. And the volume was a little over 500 gallons per minute. Yeah, it had the volume, but if we really boosted it up, we'd probably suck it dry. So not believing, or, that's not a good way to put it, let's double check somewhere else. So we went over to Universal Road and did a test number 2 with a fire hydrant very close to the rear entrance to the school, where parents have been coming in and up that kind of ramping drive. We tested it there, and the pressure was 20 PSI, half what we needed. And the volume was even lower, it was 480 gallons per minute. That's 2 failures. This is not enough to power a sprinkler system. It's not enough muscle. Okay, we had very good talks and follow-up conversations with Jefferson City's water and sewer people. And they were just super nice and very cooperative with us and enlightened us on their system. I personally talked to a gentleman, Porter in Massengill, who just, he discussed it with us as long as we needed. He was just extremely courteous, and but it's still low pressure. So it boils down to mostly 2 options. And one is somebody get in a hurry and put in a new fire water line along Andrew Johnson with much more powerful pump behind it to pump water. Or the second option is for this, basically the school project, to add a booster pump of its own independent use, and a great big water tank. Talking to the plumbing engineer this afternoon, and he thinks it's going to be close to 50,000 gallon tank. Okay. So that's what we're faced with. And we don't see, well, anybody getting in a hurry to put in a new and much bigger fire water line along Andrew Johnson Highway, let's say. The most attractive option, certainly the quickest one, would be to add a booster pump of our own in our own sprinkler room and a big fat water tank to serve it. So then everything will be fine. But it was quite a hiccup. So yes.
Now, the water pressure problem and the water volume pressure, it wouldn't matter whether we are renovating our school or we build a new school. That would apply to both, right? So there's no way by building a new school that would change the situation. We would need a new tank or a booster pump for that also. Now, when I heard this, when I heard this, I know that right down the road we have Jefferson Hospital, which is considerably larger than our school. And Summit Medical just built a big building across the street from it, which probably is about the same. And I have to think that they are both serviced by sprinkler systems to be up to code. So I said, well, if we can't get the water volume and the pressure, how can they? And Dr. Arnold informed me that they're on the New Market water system. I said, well, if that's the case, why can't we be on the New Market water system? And I was informed that I guess there's some kind of a public utilities law that says if we're located in the Jefferson City Water District, New Market can't supply us with water, even though they get their water exclusively from Jefferson City water. So, I mean, I can't believe that there's not some kind of a compromise that we could make. I don't know that New Market Water could provide us with the amount of water that we wanted, but if they're providing Jefferson Hospital with it, and they're providing Summit Medical with it, to me that says and they're just right down the road from us. I would think that they could probably do it to us if we could just get some kind of a waiver on that regulation, which I don't know that we can or not. Am I saying this right, Dr. Owen?
Yeah, I don't, you know, I don't know what the, I mean, you're asking for a waiver against, I don't see that happening.
Okay.
Myself. So the hospital is served by Newmarket, and the Jefferson Family Physicians is a much smaller footprint than a school.
Mhm.
The Jefferson Family Physicians may have you may have 70 people in there at one time during flu season, whereas the school, you might
Oh, yeah.
have, 600. So there's different qualifications for the amount. A residential line would work just fine at that doctor's office area, whereas we fall under a different category that has a different requirement. So, just as Rush Strong is in KUB power territory, Appalachian Electric is not able to help us in that jurisdiction. So,
How much more are we talking with this booster pump, money-wise?
Money-wise, $350,000.
So that includes the water tank and the booster pump?
Yes, sir. It'll take additional grading, it'll take some electrical work, concrete pads, for it to sit on, and, good sized water lines that run from the tank down the hill into the gutter. It's got some
Would these tanks sit inside the building?
nice list of miscellaneous work attached to it. Sir?
right now, just spitballing, somewhere back behind the trailers that serve the alternative school. So it has to be a higher elevation. So we've got to get to a higher ground that's, but the thing is, you take $350,000 out of a $24 million budget. $350,000 is a lot of money, but there's going to be unforeseen. The thing is, you could build a new school somewhere and hit a rock, and that rock could cost you $350,000 to take care of.
And we do have about $1 million in contingency in the project built in, do we not?
There is some contingency built in, that is correct. I don't know that amount off the top, but there is contingency built in. I will tell you this, you hate to use
Well,
contingency
of
before you
course.
even start.
Of course.
But,
So the middle school ain't got sprinklers either?
so yes, so understand that things have happened over the past 26, 27 years that may have deteriorated lines, drew pressure off of lines, that in 2000 the middle school passed, but once you get approval from the state fire marshal, then that approval sticks. Just as in today's fire suppression systems and evacuation, you have to have an audible alarm that's so many decibels. It has to be not just a sound, but strobing lights that do certain things in certain locations. And it also has to have voice activated, which, as different codes are passed, you don't have to bring that school up to that code until you do some sort of renovation. So Jefferson Middle's fine, don't worry about it. It has passed inspection and it is cleared. So, unless we did some major renovation to it structurally, we don't have to worry about it.
Well, I guess the question is, if the water pressure stuff ain't up to snuff, how's it gonna help the middle school if something happens? It seems to me like that, if it's on, whatever utility company's line down there, they should be keeping that up, just in case. I mean, that's just, I don't know.
So this pump, would it be able to be used to, for the middle school? Would we be able to adapt it if we needed to for the middle school? If it became an issue with the middle school down the road?
I don't know that answer, so, we currently do not have a problem at Jefferson Middle School. There is no issue there that we are aware of. We have passed inspection, we have 5-year inspections, those have been passed. But to get a permit from the state fire marshal in today's world, we do not meet the requirements at Jeff Elementary.
I guess what I'm asking is, say 5 years from now, if something happens in renovation or something happens and I don't wanna be back in the same boat dealing with Jefferson Middle, not having the pressure, would this pump system, would we be able to run off of that pump system to the middle school as well without
This-
having to
No.
do this all over again? Or
No,
is
this pump
strictly
system
just
would be
for-
directed solely for Jeff Elementary.
It'll be an independent system, just for Jeff Elementary. I guess the waterworks people can do whatever they want to out on the streets. And whenever they wanna add booster pumps and things like that, to their own system. But Jefferson Elementary will be standing there on its own system. Sir,
How long have we got to make this decision? I know we gotta have it done more than likely, but figuring out where the money's gonna come from and what we're gonna do.
So right now, the $350,000 additional cost is no different than if we dug in the ground and found something and had to do something, that cost money. So right now, we are still working on a $24 million budget. No matter that this cost came in unexpected, we didn't expect to be in Jefferson City and not have enough water pressure to serve the sprinkler system. Whenever we were down at, just trying to think of something that happened at Talbot.
Fire condition.
Yeah, I mean, unexpected things happen whenever you tear down walls and dig in the dirt. So, we just have to, maybe something happens and we can't pave a certain area. Maybe we can't change out something. We have to make some modifications if it doesn't come in. But until we bid it out, until we get these plans approved, number one, we don't go anywhere without this fire suppression system to send to the state. So we can't even bid it out really without a plan to sprinkle the building.
Just wondering, is that, you, Nathan, you and Mr. Blankenship have been in contact with the water. Do you see any possibility of negotiating with them to have either them provide what we need or for them to allow Newmarket to provide what we need if Newmarket is willing to do that? I'm thinking maybe some county commissioners up there, maybe some school board members, kind of talk it out, or do you think that would be a waste of time?
I think that would be a waste of time. In conversation, so looking back, remember, Jefferson City incurred a large cost recently in their water filtration system. That was unexpected. That wasn't budgeted item. Now, they have a plan in place to extend their services towards Jefferson Elementary School, to upgrade that line. And they mentioned that, Mr. Massengill mentioned that, but it's in a 5-year plan. It's not anything that is currently being discussed or planned. So, and I think the water issues set them back some in their development of new expansions and upgrades.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that from, because of what happened with that water bladder and all that, I'm sure that cost a lot of money. I'm just thinking if we could have and maybe I'm dreaming, if we could have that regulation waived where Newmarket could provide us with the water rather than Jefferson City, water department. To me, I don't know what that would take. If their lines come all the way down, I don't know about the funeral home that's next to, Jefferson Middle, but if they come all the way down to Jefferson Hospital with that kind of pressure, if something could be worked out where it could just be sent a little bit further down towards us, I think that would be a great solution. But whether that's possible or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's not my wheelhouse.
So think about this too. Let's say we enter into negotiations with Jefferson City and Newmarket, and we pay lawyers to write up contracts, and we get the ability to do it. And then we go to Newmarket and pay to extend a line from Newmarket to, and say that line costs $200,000, and we lose 7 months. So then, time is money.
Yep.
So we could be, in worst case, off 7, 8 months from now whenever we get something approved. If it got approved, then we are putting $350,000 in a tank.
Being with the legal costs and everything else.
Could be,
Yeah.
could be, because Newmarket's not gonna do it if it got approved. No entity's going to do it for free. We're gonna have to cover the cost of line extension or tank and pump.
Mhm.
They're not gonna do it for us. So,
Okay.
Question, does the Jefferson City supply water to Newmarket?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
The Talbot water line, how far down does it come? I know it comes over next to my home.
yeah,
What
no,
is the
Shady Grove goes up and cuts off. I only know this because of the recent, it goes up to Mount Orab.
Does Shady Grove not get their water from Jefferson City?
Shady Grove, yeah, Talbot Utility's different, and it serves some down through there, but Shady Grove gets their water from,
Jefferson City.
and KUB,
Yeah, and Knoxville.
and KUB. Is Dandridge,
How far
you know,
Josh?
oh,
We do not get it from Jefferson City.
no, I know.
Just make
You
that
get
clear.
you get some from KUB,
They're our backup.
back up,
Where does Mount Orab get their water?
Shady Grove. It's very, it is very, those lines are drawn, and, they're set. You cannot cross the jurisdiction of another utility to provide services.
So would you be crossing another one from Newmarket to Jefferson City?
Yes.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, it'd take an act of Congress to get that accomplished. The thing is, Bill Blankenship can draw a tank on a sheet of paper. He can draw a pump in, we can send it to the state fire marshal's office, and we can proceed. Any other action is we're gonna be delayed months.
Where would the water come to go into the tank?
Jefferson City would provide water into the tank. We would store that tank, and then in case of a fire and the system, Jefferson Elementary called for a sprinkler system to come on, then that tank would come on and pump water directly into the school.
Would the grammar school still be in operation with the city water?
Yes,
And
yeah, we're getting city water all over.
then the tank would just be there in case.
Yeah, it is the reserve makeup for what the fire line cannot fully produce. Like you said, it's 20 PSI, and we need 45 PSI. So that tank's gonna make up the other 25% that we need.
With a booster pump.
Yes. It's no different than whenever you, as a board, need to know that we're gonna stay within budget. There's gonna be things that happen throughout this whole project that cause us to have to make modifications. This is a big one, why we're bringing it to you, because we're gonna put a tank somewhere that weighs 300,000 pounds, gonna have a footprint of, concrete, and hopefully we can disguise it to where it's not an eyesore. You won't see it from 11E, you won't see it from Universal. You'll probably see it in a Colorado pickup line or at a football game, but other than that.
So what I'm hearing is, we cannot do anything unless we have a water tank to provide coverage.
That's correct. We
How long
cannot,
are we talking about that?
Yes, sir.
How long are we talking?
Pardon?
Months, 6 weeks?
I'm sorry, to do what?
How long are we talking about before we can get the tank and the water lines run into it?
we just have to draw it on paper. We don't have to install it till we finish the first renovation. And we have to have that in place. We have to get fire marshal approval.
Would they approve it if it's just
The engineer thinks that they will approve it, yes.
without doing anything? But we have to have plans to do it.
Yes, that's correct. We have to have it in place, as part of the life safety plan to get a certificate of occupancy to be able to move into the school and get approval. It's, an example, Talbot Elementary, we got a certificate of occupancy, how many days before school started? 2 days before school started. So we had everything in place, but we didn't get that final approval from the state fire marshal's office until 2 days before school started. So, we're used to living on the edge a little bit.
Now, schools with a new booster pump and a large tank to supply the volume have been approved in the state of the state fire marshal's office. And in fact, engineering services group is the mechanical plumbing engineer, fire protection engineer for this project. They have had another school location approved with the same tank pump system. So it's not new to them, it's not a strange situation for the state fire marshal either. They've seen it and approved it.
The biggest thing is, it's just abnormal for us. It's not something we expected in a city. But a lot of commercial buildings that handle various types of hazardous materials and things, or that have a large pool for water. If you go out to Bush's, they have water storage tanks. So it's not a big thing in the commercial world. It's a new concept for us to consider having to have a water tank to supply fire suppression for our schools.
I guess I keep going back to the whole, I don't understand how a fire marshal can sign off on, I guess, 20 years ago, whatever. I don't know how you can sign off on Jefferson Middle being okay. And that don't make no sense, because if it's not good enough to supply something that's gonna be new, and it probably can't handle what's right there right now. And I know we don't need to go through like trying to do something with Jefferson Middle right this minute, but
Yeah, I'm not sitting here telling you that it can't. I'm just telling you, we are in compliance at Jeff Middle School.
I just,
I'm not telling you, I'm not telling you that, you know, necessarily that all the time we have fire alarms and a door doesn't close, or something doesn't activate, or, you know, we have to change those, you know. I'm not sitting here telling you sprinklers malfunction and have caused, I think in Knox County, a few years back, a new school had a sprinkler system malfunction and did, you know, $600,000 worth of damage and delayed opening 6 months. So there's pros and cons to function. It can hurt you or it can help you. But I think that, you know, just based on Jeff Mills' complaints.
If the board agrees to put the tank and the pump there, can we process, keep on going, or do you have to?
Yes.
Is it a hurry up wait?
We can keep on moving
Huh?
and get the drawings out, the end of this week.
Would they have to be approved by the fire marshal before?
Yes, sir, they'll go to the state fire marshal's office. And that, they approve you, the compliance of the design and issue a building permit for a contractor to proceed with construction.
And
So
you say
that submission is very, very important.
you say the fire marshal has approved a similar system in other cases.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we have seen this. I knew nothing about it. But it's no different than Jeff City, New Market has water tanks. Across from First People's Bank, there's water tanks. Across from the hospital, there's water tanks. That increases pressure, allows for, influx in water. Whenever you have leaks, it repressurizes the line. So water tanks are an important part.
Got one in our community, but I don't know where it comes from.
Right.
Oh, seriously, I don't know where it comes from. You,
Yeah.
Josh? It's down on the Burnett place on top of that mountain.
So they're here in Dandridge, every community has water tanks. But, like I said, it's just something new. It's no different than whenever we went down to Talbot Elementary and we're going to dig, and this is why we put contingency money into the budget. We're gonna dig the front entrance, or the back entrance in at Piedmont Elementary, and they dig in the ground, and the main electrical service is 8 inches deep. It should be 3 feet deep at a minimum, but it's not. And that was a $40,000 expenditure cost that we had to okay and move on immediately. This is a $350,000 cost that we are asking Mr. Blankenship to move forward on in design work, because if we don't, this project's dead. And we can't move forward. My job is to keep the project moving forward until this board stops.
We need to put it on the agenda to vote.
No.
I said, let's do it.
So you don't need it on the agenda, just as, you know, if we go to dig the front of the school, the new addition, until we need more money, or you see something as a board that you need to stop a project, we're moving forward. Like Doug said, there's $1 million of contingency in the budget for a reason, and that's to move the project forward. If we have to stop for whatever and come get approval, then, you know, it just so happens it's right now in the phase of not starting. We could easily hit a $300,000 problem in somewhere in the construction renovation of the school. That's why there is a large contingency in there. If you also remember, we had a contingency in Piedmont, 1.1 or $1 million, and we brought $900,000 back to the board.
Even with the problem with the gym.
Yes. So things happen. Sometimes you get lucky at Piedmont and bring 900,000 back. And sometimes, you hit a dry spell, as we did in this one, and don't have enough water to service, and we're gonna have to modify. The thing is, it's a modification. Instead of just a line directed to the school to supply water, we're running it into a tank to build up our pressure and then supplying it to the school.
Anything else?
Well, I think I've taken too long. I'll sit down. Thank you.
Matt? No. You got anything, Matt? You got anything you want to say, Matt?
Yeah,
Come on up, man.
I thought I was gonna get out the, update on energy savings. Is that what you want me to do or not?
That's wonderful.
All right. How are you doing? You got your book?
Yes. I have mine memorized.
That's better than I can say. All right, so. You want?
No, I'm good, sir.
You need one? So, this is your, come on. Oh, you're way to go, right? This is your year one measurement and verification, report for the phase one of the energy savings projects, which is Newmarket, Dandridge, and White Pine schools, okay? I'm not the best at explaining this, but I'll do my best with. I'll do my best with the information in here. If you go to page one of the report, we retrofitted 12 facilities across the district. We did not do anything with Piedmont because it was under renovations at that point in time, and we all felt that it was better not to do anything with that school. In 3 of the schools, we did a full HVAC retrofit, building automation controls as well, and a lighting retrofit in the 3 schools that we're talking about now, White Pine, Dandridge, and Newmarket. The 9 other schools, we did a district-wide lighting retrofit, converted everything to LED. We also have an operational savings categories, which we took information that Kelly Coggins had provided to us on all of the repairs and maintenance and items that you paid for over the, I think it was 2 or 3 year period. We averaged that out and put that as an operational savings that you're going to save with new equipment going into the facility. New lights, new equipment, and controls managing all this stuff. Page 3, this basically tells you how we looked at this and verified it. The 3 buildings that we talked about, White Pine, Dandridge, and Newmarket, these were all under a measurement and verification protocol, item C, which means we take the electric meter, gas meter, water meter, and that's what we utilize to look at the savings and make sure that we've either hit the target, exceeded it, or did not hit it, okay? The lighting on the other 9 schools that we did is under a option A, which means it's stipulated. We take building hours and operational hours that are prescribed by TVA, and we look at the existing wattages and then the replacement wattages and come out with that calculation. Does that make sense? So we're not going to measure every light bulb with that, if that makes sense. Page 4. The good news is that under this phase, you exceeded your year 1 guarantee from us by $150,000, which is fantastic. Now, if you look at that, how that's combined is you had one-time TVA rebates of over $113,000. The energy and maintenance savings were roughly $214,000 for that. So, there's a point here where we call the adjusted guarantee, and I'll talk about that as best I can. But the variance to the guarantee was $150,535. There's a little bit of a gray box down there. You can see what that information is on top of that. Go to page 5. This details the option A savings for the 9 schools that we did a complete district-wide lighting retrofit. You actually exceeded the guarantee by $30,000, over $30,000, because if you look down at the rates under option C, where it jumps, the contract guarantee was $22,034, and you go to the adjusted guarantee, we had to adjust up for utility costs rising during the time that we set the baseline and the time that we did the actual verification on this, which could trap us in a guarantee because the costs are going up, but that's what we had to adjust that before that point. You look at the building maintenance repair, the utility rebates, et cetera, all that information shakes out to where we were above on the option A, above on option C. We met the building and the building maintenance and repair items, and then we were also, the utility rebates were lower. And you received checks from TVA for all, or the local power provider for all of those rebates. Okay? You go to page 6. This is where we look and drill down into the 3 schools that we looked at. White Pine was really the top shelf of the 3 schools that we saved money at. At Dandridge Elementary, we had a baseline utility, electric and gas of almost $90,000. The goal was to save $65,070. We saved $12,200, which was a variance of a positive of almost $6,000. Newmarket was the problem, and I'll get to that in a minute. We only saved $134 there, and it was almost $4,500 short of the goal that we wanted. I'm sorry, $4,500 short of the goal that we wanted to get when we first embarked on this. White Pine School, again, like I said, they had a plus $6,200 variance from the guarantee goal and what was realized in savings. Make sense? Page 7 strictly looks at Dandridge Elementary. One of the things here, you have gas and electric is used in this building. Same thing at White Pine. You have a lot of water source heat pumps here, which are very efficient. We exceeded we reduced the kilowatts hours, kBTUs by 24%. We had a 14% cost reduction from that, and one of the problems is the demand variance. Our goal was to reduce your kW, which is your demand, which is your foot on the gas pedal, basically. If you think about it, every time you punch it, the demand goes up or down. And once you hit the top demand for a period of 15 minutes in 1 month, that's what's set for the whole year. Okay, so we were plus 135. Our goal was negative 145 to reduce it that much, but we added kilowatt hours. Most of this happened during the cold times, and that was the same thing with Newmarket as well. This will add cost. If we can figure out what happened here, and it could probably be scheduling and when all these items come on in the morning. I think that's part of the problem. So we're looking at that. If we can reduce that kilowatt demand, we're going to increase the savings here overall. So that's a good thing. All right. Newmarket's the next school. Again, this if you look at the same side up here, demand variance, we had a goal to reduce it by 166 kilowatts. We increased it by 313. We've looked at the situation over there. We've run some data on this school, and we figured out that a lot of this, it was all happening during the wintertime. We believe that there's this is an all-electric school, 4 unit heaters in the gym that come on at 6 o'clock in the morning. And they come on, and when they come on, they ramp up, and they all come on at the same time. We're thinking that staggering that the beginning when they come on one every 15 minutes will help that demand. We also have all the other units probably coming on at the same time. So we have to look at scaling back or stepping them on how they turn on. Does that make sense? So we're working on that. Anything we do on that kilowatt demand is going to increase the savings there dramatically. So it's fantastic. All that makes sense so far? White Pine, again, everything looked great at White Pine. We were $6,200 above our energy savings goal. And our guarantee, again, the demand variance here, we wanted to reduce it by 312 kilowatts. We only reduced it by 130 kilowatts. So we got some work to do there. We think there's something in the scheduling that we'll look at. We'll continue to do that as part of our guarantee with you guys to make sure that we're maximizing the savings for these three schools. Make sense? All right. On your LED retrofit of the 9 facilities, like I said, we don't measure every light bulb. So we had a realized cost savings of almost $122,000 against almost $92,000 in the guarantee that we had. So we were positive 33%. We saved over 1 million kilowatt hours and reduced your peak demand by 4,598 kilowatts. All right. One of the things that we have to look at is on that bottom tan box. When you put in new LED lights, you reduce the heat load that the old lights would put off. So now, during the wintertime, you reduce that heat load, you're going to have to increase your heating capacity in those areas. So we have to affect that. If we didn't do that, it wouldn't be a transparent measurement and verification to you. So I just wanted to let you see that we lost $15,000 in savings calculated based on these lights that we put in because of the heating requirement that we lost with the LED upgrades. Does that make sense, everybody? Good? Okay. The maintenance savings, again, that was a straight line out of the budget costs that we arrived at when we got the information from Kelly. So that will reoccur in years 2 and 3. Right now, year 2 is underway. We're also working on Rush Strong's first year. So understand that as we look forward. We're going to, here's some of the things we're looking at. The demand performance is really the key thing that we have to look at for these 3 schools to try to decrease that kilowatt demand. All right? And that's really it. Is that all right? Yeah. Sure.
Matt, you know, I think this is great. I think overall, you know, you can see where we're saving money. We can save you the money more based upon what you said. My question, I think right now is Jeff Middle. Have you encountered any unforeseen situations at Jeff Middle as you're putting in that replacing that HVAC unit?
No, nothing unforeseen. We are waiting on 30 or so probably unit ventilators, which are the air handling side that go in the classrooms. The 8th grade section, that was called. That went pretty smoothly. We were tight on the construction time. We got it done before school started, most of it. And apparently from Train, I talked to the representative last week again today. Those units were supposed to ship August 8th. They did not. And I called and found out that they were waiting for a part from a vendor that they didn't have. Okay. Called him today on the way over here, and he said that they're expected to ship 8/28, actually tomorrow, but he's given a little extra time to make sure because they're in production. They got the part, and that's all we're waiting for right now.
And also, I would like to compliment you on the job that you did at Jeff or at Mark. Those lights are really, really good.
No, thank you.
They really look. I was out there at the last game. I stayed there until it got pitch black, and it's like a new field. And I presume now that those are up in next year's kind of study, those will be in here also.
You know,
There's some rebate, but they're probably not running enough to get a study on those.
Oh, okay.
yeah, we weren't, those didn't
Yeah.
run enough to get a study, but
Okay.
we did get rebates we weren't expecting to get, and we applied for them, I think, close to $21,000 for those lights, which are fantastic. That was kind of a gift, wasn't it?
We could use 350.
I'll work on that. I can work on that. Yeah, that coming together thing was pretty much a team effort. There's a lot of help that needed to be done.
Yeah.
So,
I guess there's still some track repair that needs to be done over
they
there.
get a lot of track repair, yeah, and that will be.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
But as far as what it looks like, it looks like a new field tonight now.
Yeah, it's good. And I guess you got some strobe lights that'll work out there too, once you get that figured out, right? Okay, thank you. Is there anything else? Anything else? Good, thanks.
Let's see. Can you give a quick update on Dalton?
Yes.
What all going on there?
Yeah, so at Dollar Elementary, right now, we are waiting on the HVAC unit that was damaged in transit, and there is a ship date of the 27th, I believe. So everything's on schedule to be put in the next day, the 27th or 28th. It'll be set and then operational. Also, there is a delay on some of the final excavation work due to soil dampness. So if you watch the weather, you'll see that right now the month of August is 2 3/4 inches plus on rainfall. So, you know, whenever you get 2 or 3 times as much rain as you expect for the month, it causes the soil to remain damp. And as you know, that is a catch area. That's a slope. So whenever they put up siltation fence and all that, it controls the runoff. So it's already a flat area that drains slow. It drains even slower with that up. So it's catching a lot of water. So to put in that walking track and the final grade work is, they can't pave right now. So that's holding that up until they get, they came out, dug in the ground 6 inches and it was soaking wet. So, it may look dry on top, but it's gotta filter through and get ready so that they can bring in heavy equipment and pave.
Dr. Arm, did you say we are going to look elsewhere for the actual asphalt roadway that we're going to be putting in there?
That is correct. Whenever Mr. Blankenship did some design work on a road, we ran that through an initial figure. So asphalt kind of follows the barrel of oil price, which is high. Anytime you see diesel price over 5 gallons, you can imagine how much asphalt costs. So that 3-lane road from the, coming in was $600 and something thousand. So we threw the brakes on, we have the design, and we will look at other options outside of going through skilled services to get that accomplished. You know, we probably need prices to fall a little bit. Let's say whenever they get the grade work done, worst case scenario, we have an emergency, we could bring something in that way and you know, get access. But we will have to just wait a little bit to try to get something put in. No.
All right. School commissioner items for discussion. Anybody got anything?
Actually, I got
two things. There was something about the threat assessments on there. I'm just a little bit, maybe you can clarify something. So it says, there were 200 investigated. Number of viable threats investigated was 1. Number of students charged were 3, but they were separate incidents. So I'm a little confused how we had 1 viable threat investigated, 3 charged on separate incidents.
Come on up, Kerry. Thank you for the opportunity for Kerry to come up. She loves.
What's the new school year? We just want to.
Yeah, she
Oh,
loves.
okay.
That's right. So the one student was arrested for threats of mass violence. So there were 3 separate instances where students were charged. So that one was the credible threat. But then 2 students, during the course of the threat assessment investigation, either something else happened or other information that law enforcement picked up on. And so they weren't charged, or it wasn't necessarily concerning the threats of mass violence to begin with. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it was during the investigation, something else.
So it wasn't the same
Right,
charge, it was something else and it came out of it.
correct.
Were they charged for whatever it was, or?
They were charged for whatever it was, but
Different
not about the threat assessments.
I was just trying to make sense of,
I felt like
I
I
thought
should
1,
put that
but
in
then
there
it was
because,
3,
yeah,
but they were separate. Anyways.
I'll be more clear next time.
No, that makes sense though, I didn't know if it was just a typo or just something I wasn't
Yeah.
understanding.
So we only have 1 charged with threats of mass violence.
Okay. And one of the,
Kerry.
Oh, sorry.
no,
Not Kerry.
no, not Karen.
Okay.
I'll wait till she sits down.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, I know that we video our work and our business sessions, but they wait a day or 2 before they get put up. Obviously, been put up. County Commission, they have theirs done live. I mean, you can actually watch it as it happens.
Is that true? Is county commission live stream?
Yes, Mike Bolton comes and live streams that.
Okay.
I get a lot of people
Sometimes.
wanna know if we could do that with ours. I get a lot of people wondering why we don't. And it actually kind of makes sense why we don't. I don't know if there's just is it just our capabilities, or is it just something we just don't do, or?
We just haven't in the past. I can look into it though.
And then it would just say up on it afterwards, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Can I ask another question? When you do a live, if somebody is watching it live, they pause it for a minute or whatever, or a couple minutes. The meeting ends, they go back to finish watching it. Does the feed stop so the video stops? Do you know if that happens?
I couldn't say for sure.
Okay.
I can find out, but I really don't know offhand.
No, I just think it would be, good for people, you know, I think we do a lot of things on the school board, we like to be transparent. I think a lot of people like to stay informed. There's a lot of people that can't make it, and, you know, I get phone calls, I get a lot of people who inquire why we don't do it. They'd like to be abreast of it when it's happening, so, you know, just thought it might be something to put out there.
Yeah, a couple things. First of all, I would really like to thank Bill, Coach, and Josh. I think we have had a very, very smooth, very good functioning school board. With the group, we got a lot done. You know, we were able to air our disagreements in a very civil manner. Coach, he and I are almost always on the opposite end of the question, but he was always pleasant, always a gentleman to me, and I appreciate that. Bill, school board for so long. People don't understand the kind of commitment you make when you're on the school board, especially for 20, 16 years. That's a lot of personal time, you know, and I would just want to kind of, just coming from this school board member, thank them for all that time they spent. And Josh, it's been a pleasure serving with you. I think you've guided these meetings in a very, very, you know, simple, low-key, efficient way. I appreciate, you know, your knowledge of parliamentary procedure, Robert's Rules of Order.
We're gonna miss you.
And I just want to, again, add my personal thanks to the three of you for the time and the effort that you've spent on this board. I think we're going to miss all three of you. Thank you very much. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, appreciate that. Anyone else?
Thank you, buddy.
Well, I'll say, I appreciated being able to serve with y'all. It was a heck of an experience. Some people said, you aggravated because you ain't going back home? No. I'm gonna look for the live stream. So, I wish luck to the, Mr. Satterfield and Mr. Fincham. Can't call me anything else because that's what I know them by, they were my teachers. So, and Michelle's gonna be coming on here, so, hopefully they'll all